Welcome to the Deep Dive. Ready to have your minds blown? Today we're exploring Deen. And no, we're not talking about your typical understanding of religion. We're going way deeper with a brilliant Dr. Waleed. He's got this incredible take on Deen, especially that word, the original Arabic.
Yeah.
It's less about like rituals and more about a universal system, almost like a cosmic blueprint.
It's amazing. People hear Deen and they think, okay, spirituality, faith. But his work really digs into how it connects to literally like the fabric of the universe.
Okay, so not just believing in something, but like fundamental to how everything works.
Exactly.
So where do you even begin to make that connection?
Well, he starts with the Quran. You've got verses like 21.30. It talks about the heavens and the earth being joined together before they were opened up. So, you've probably heard about the Big Bang Theory, right?
Of course, yeah.
Dr. Waleed actually links that concept back to this ancient text.
Whoa, hold on. So you're saying the Quran, suggested this massive cosmological event centuries before science even?
Yeah. And it gets even wilder. The Quran, it describes the universe in its early stages as smoke in verse 41.11. Now, if you think about what we know from astrophysics, cosmic dust, that primordial soup, right? Where stars and galaxies come from.
Oh, wow. It's like the Quran speaking science, even if it's not using our modern terms.
Exactly. And this is a big part of what Dr. Waleed points to show that Deen is literally woven into reality. Just like we've got these, physical laws, planets orbiting stars, there's this concept of divine system behind it all.
Okay, I'm with you so far. There's this system. But what does that even look like? Paint me a picture here.
All right, so imagine this. Dr. Waleed talks about the universe as finite, but without edges, like a continuous loop.
Okay. Trying to wrap my head around that one. How do you even picture a universe like that?
It's definitely a brain bender, but think of it like traveling east on Earth. You keep going and going. Eventually, you end up right back where you started, yeah.
Right, because it's a sphere.
Exactly. So Dr. Waleed's suggesting the universe might work in a similar way, but on a scale we can barely grasp.
No bumping into the edge of the universe then. But, okay, so if Deen is this all-encompassing thing, does that mean we see it playing out here on Earth, too? Not just in space.
100%, and that's where things get even more interesting.
So we're talking about Deen, it's woven into the universe, right?
Yeah.
But how does that play out on a planet-sized scale? What about here on Earth?
That's where it gets really cool because we're talking about stuff the Quran was already hinting at centuries ago.
You mean how it describes the Earth itself?
Exactly. Way before telescopes and all that, verse 84.3, it talks about the Earth being spread out. But the word they use in Arabic, it doesn't just mean flat, it points to this elliptical shape, almost like
Like an egg.
Exactly. And that's the Earth. We're talking about ancient texts lining up with what science is only figuring out now.
Makes you wonder what else we might find if we look closely enough.
Right. That's the beauty of it, that curiosity. That's what Dr. Waleed's getting at. We got to be open to both science and spirituality. They actually kind of go together.
And speaking of seeing things in new ways,
yeah.
What about that verse, the one where it talks about mountains moving? Always tripped me up.
Oh, verse 27.88, right. It says mountains passing by like clouds, which sounds crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, because they're mountains.
Exactly. But then we discovered plate tectonics, how the Earth's crust is always shifting super slow, but still.
And suddenly it's whoa, the Quran was on to something.
Exactly. It's it's telling us, hey, look deeper. Don't just assume the world's more amazing than you think.
So it's not about blind faith. It's about active searching.
Right. That pursuit of knowledge, that's part of Deen too. It's all connected.
Okay, so if this Deen, it's in the Big Bang, it's in the Earth, even in how mountains move, then where do we fit into all this? Humans,
That is the million-dollar question, and that's where understanding Deen as this system really gets mind-blowing.
All right, so we've gone from the universe to the Earth, and now the big question is, where do we fit into this whole Deen thing?
Right, because if we're talking about Deen as this system, this blueprint for how everything works, it means we're not just here watching it play out, we're part of it.
So every choice we make, it's contributing to this massive cosmic system.
Exactly. And that's what Dr. Waleed says makes it so important to get. It's not just about knowing about Deen, it's about aligning our lives with it.
So it's not a spectator sport, more we're all players on the field.
Exactly. Because if everything's connected like this, our actions, they have these ripple effects. How we treat each other, the planet, even the small choices, it all ties into this web of Deen.
It's almost like this idea breaks down the walls between, what's religious and what isn't. If Deen really is everything, then Doesn't that kind of make everything, I don't know, kind of sacred?
I think that's a really beautiful way to put it. Finding that sacredness in everyday life, that's a big part of what Dr. وليد talks about.
This whole deep dive has been amazing. We started with just this word, deen, and now we're talking about the entire universe, our planet, even ourselves.
It really makes you think, right? And that's kind of the point. When you come across ideas like this, they challenge you, make you see things differently.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this awesome deep dive, there's one thing you want listeners to remember. What would it be?
You know, the next time you look up at the stars or see something amazing in nature, just remember that's deen you're witnessing. It's not some abstract concept. It's literally everything around us, connecting us all.
Now, that is a thought to carry with us. Thank you so much for taking us on this journey. It's been incredible.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep those minds open.